Please. Okay. Good afternoon, and I hope that you have been enjoying the conference. I mean, there have been a lot of powerful ideas being shared there, and I hope you are taking maximum opportunities of them. So we'll be having a very interesting section, and I'll be throwing a side joke. How many of us have ever received a mail that starts with, "Thank you so much for applying for this role"? So you know the next paragraph will be what? The next paragraph will be what? Okay. So we'll have this is going to be a very nice interaction with one of the people that sent those kind of mails, right? So try to follow alongside with me. Welcome to our next section titled Scaling Impact Through People. Taimaka's journey towards cost-effective humanitarian action in northern Nigeria. In this section, we will learn how one organization is building lean, people-focused systems to drive real change in the fight against malnutrition. It's a compelling case study of how thoughtful operations and intentional HR process can multiply impact. I'm delighted to introduce our speaker for this section, Abubakar Waziri. Abubakar serves as the admin and HR officer at Taimaka, a non-profit committed to treating acute malnutrition in northern Nigeria, with a deep passion for creating work environments where people feel valued and supported. Waziri oversees everything from recruitment and staff welfare to internal communications and policy development. His approach is grounded in the principles of effective altruism, ensuring that every decision he makes contributes to long-term scalable impact. Outside of his former role, Waziri leads conversation on ethical leadership, feedback culture, and career development within his team. He's currently leading Taimaka's 2025 staff satisfaction survey and presenting to attending in EAGxNigeria to further strengthen the connections with other HR and operational professionals. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Abubakar Waziri. Please clap. You might be the next. Okay, and just to say this, there will be a live interaction on the swap card. If you have any questions for Abubakar, just make sure you drop them.
Thank you so much, Shion, for setting me up. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to address this gathering today at EAGxNigeria 2025. Shion has set me up saying I'm the one who sent that type of email. But of course, I'm the one who congratulates people for promotions and some N allowances. Thank you so much. Having said that, I'll try to be as precise as possible. And just like he has read the topic and projected by you, is scaling impact through people. But there's a little tilt. It's no longer Taimaka's journey, but Taimaka's approach to a cost-effective humanitarian action in northeast Nigeria. So in the northeast of Nigeria, when we save lives of children who are malnourished, it doesn't just occur to us as just saving their lives, and it doesn't just stop at scaling that impact and stops. What really matters, the bell it rings to us, is about decisions, the decisions we make. How many of you here know that Taimaka, that is adequately known for its treatment of acute malnutrition, had originally been involved in post-harvest loans, like giving loans to farmers in the Farm Impact Program? So today, my presentation will walk us through how we navigate this and the kind of decisions we took and how we are where we are today. Talking about the initial intervention, we started from post-harvest loans and we moved to SEMA. So the first project we did was supporting farmers with loans, and we tried to identify people who are farming, what are the kinds of crops they farm. And we are more interested about maize because a study has shown that maize is that grain that has proven to be like the best kind of seed you will use for arbitrage. And we try to see how we can, educate these farmers to keep some of these grains they have for a later time, because historically most of these farmers farm maize and then they sell it as soon as they harvest it. And at that time, the price is very, very poor. So we try to encourage them to hold on with their grains and sell it at a later time. But some of those things that is eaten up is because they have dates to clear and other things. So we come at that material time just to make sure that we pay we give them money, and make sure how many bags they are willing to commit. Then we give them the amount commensurate to those bags so that they keep on with their bags and sell it at a later time. So why do we have to change this thing? It's really tricky when you realize that you are working so hard to help people, but then you still realize that, how you are helping people is not the most effective, the most helpful way to, make sure that you make their lives better. And this was the case for Taimaka. It shook our team and made them go back to the round table to sit down and re-strategize. And this is how the idea of CMAM, Community Management of Acute Malnutrition, came into play. And that was how the journey started in 2022. So we didn't just, dump the PHLs and start, CMAM. At that time, we were winding up the post-harvest loan, and some of our loan officers have covered, their sites and made sure that they have ensured a lot of repayment from those clients. So we started with a pilot, and then having some few of them who have completed repayment, starting at the CMAM from those sites, trying to see how we identify kids who are malnourished by using MUAC tapes. MUAC means mid-upper arm circumference. So this is something you use to measure the growth of the kid and to assess whether that kid is malnourished or adequately nourished. So we shifted focus to CMAM, and then we started piloting from these people. I'm going to walk us through the details later. And of course, due to some lessons we've learned from financial support models that helps in shaping our approach, we realized that, okay, with every dollar we spend, we are not making the most impact possible. So why not we try out something that is more impacted? And this is how the journey began. So those are just some pictures during the PHLs, the first two pictures, and the ones beneath are when we started CMAM. Now, the why, what, and how is going to be the next point of focus. And of course, we realized, just like I explained, that our impacts falls behind. And this is a major reason for us to change, and it was a turning point. The next is the pilot. So while we are about to start, I think we started with just 2 sites, having those loan officers go to this site, identify these people, and then some of the outcomes we got from this intervention, this piloting, actually helped inform our decision to scale up. And then today we are known for CMAM all over the globe. Now, this is how we do it. We trusted people. At Taimaka at that time, we had quite a number of staff who are loan officers who are helping in marketing our idea around this post-harvest loan. And in Northeast Nigeria, where we have predominantly Fulanis, and because of some religious belief, people feel like they don't want to take loans, that even though it's aimed at supporting them, but because it has some little charges that they level as interest, they wouldn't want to take this. So we had a very, very dedicated team of skillful individuals who are able to disseminate this information, make them understand that there is a need. We charge a fee for administrative duties and some charges, and this made it very successful at that time. So now imagine having people who are working on a loan program now getting to help you pilot a study in CMAM. This is crazy, but that's what Taimaka does, and of course, it's really effective. So these people became the first co-staff in the CMAM program. And, there was a gradual transition where we pilot, we scale, and later shut down, post-harvest loan program. And what was necessary for us to do that time is to train these people. So we gave them the adequate training. Of course, Taimaka gave them the adequate training because I'm one of those loan officers too. So, and expose them to, how it works, the model in CMAM and what have you. Then this is our growth trajectory. When we started the post-harvest loan. So we started with 20 staff, and that time, this includes both the management and then the field staff, the triage assistants and triage officers. And we started with just 1 LGA, Billiri local government. And that time, in total, we had a total of 20 staff from the main office down to the field staff. And, now we operate in more LGAs and then trying to see how we can cover the whole state and even move to neighboring states. Of course, our scale is driven by trust in our team capacity. We feel like we have the right team, the right people to get the job done. So it's easier for us to take some of these decisions and be comfortable navigating through some of these changes. Of course, while we are doing this, we don't underestimate the power of quality. We try not to compromise on that. Even though the program grows, we are scaling up. But then we don't pull our eyes towards the quality of staff that we're getting. Whenever we're going to hire staff, we try to make sure that these are qualitative people that can be trained. Even if there's a need for us to change or to do something else, these people can actually fit into some of these things. So now we have over 240 people in our payroll. Imagine an organization that started in 2019, working through this experience, doing PHLs, and realizing that there are ways that they can do more impact, and then starting this sometimes in 2022, and today we are having over 240 people, and this cut across both the management staff, both the field contractor staff, and also some government staff that we are stipending. They are all part of our program, and it helps us see how we maximize our impact. Now, I just want to reiterate on why hiring matters at scale. So when organizations want to scale up and they want to expand, it's very important you leverage on hiring and you invest a lot in hiring versus just outsourcing. Of course, it has both has their advantages and downsides, but today I want to reiterate on hiring, and that helps us sustain institutional memory. So to those people who were part of the previous program, they already understand the core values and then what Taimaka stand for. So it's easy for us to just bring out these ideas. The integrity is there, and then their zeal to actually innovate new ideas to make our treatment program better and even cheaper. Their understanding about cost effectiveness helped us a lot to be able to achieve all this success in this little time. And it allows you get greater control and accountability, and of course have a better staff growth. So this is easier to do, and of course, even though outsourcing saves short time cost, at times when you're outsourcing, when you have somebody helping you run your program, you don't have to take care of some bills and then they're going to help you do it. It might save some cost on a short time basis, but if it's spread over time, you realize that it's not as cost effective as it should be. So of course, and then you lose your organizational culture and you lose your quality when you rely on that. Of course, we're in Nigeria, and you know what it means when it's time for you to hire people and then to rely on your own staff strength. Of course, I want to walk us through how we're able to do this and navigate through interference from community leaders, from the government, and some politicians as well. These are people that we have to work with them. They are stakeholders that help us do this job, but we still are able to do it despite maintaining our organizational culture. We try to leverage a lot on transparent, multi-stage hiring process. So that has been the channel. Anybody who is joining Taimaka has to follow that channel. So we try to make sure that we are very firm and we reiterate on our commitment to getting it right always. So that's the first stage, and we try to do some sort of objective assessment and structured interviews. So you don't get a job at Taimaka until you must have gone through a test tax. There might be, there will be some tax constructed, and then you're going to go through them. When you have the cut-off mark, you'll be shortlisted for interview. You'll have to take that interview before you are offered the job. I'm going to show us how all of these things happen. And because community pressure, political pressure managed by pointing to the process, not individuals. So when we have people get to us, like people we run to attempt for approvals, people we go for when we're trying to do a sort of community entry and some community dialogue, these people come in to tell us that, okay, I have a kid, I have a daughter who has finished a certain course, I have my nephew who is this and that. How do we do it? We try to point at the process, not just individuals. So in some cases, people will want to tell them, okay, meet so person because he's a co-founder. Meet so person, he's in charge of this. We don't do that. We try to explain how our process works in Taimaka, and then that helps us in ensuring that we are able to rely on our system. Now, I just want to show us a screenshot I have from someone who was reaching out, seeking for a favor. This is something that has always been happening as a point of contact for this. People reaching out to tell you that I have this brother, I have this nephew, I have this, and then telling you that the economy in the country and stuff. So this is one of those type, and at times it's not just from them, it's from some of these government officials reaching out to tell you this. So it was written in Hausa, and then she was telling me that, okay, she has this person she knows, and this is what the person is undergoing. Please, we should help her. And I told her that we don't do that at Taimaka. Of course, there is no alfarma, no favoritism in Taimaka. So we try to always make sure that the right person is hired, and that is the only way we can save lives adequately. These are the processes. It starts from an open call for application. I know a lot of you whom we've interacted with have seen some of the openings we have for research fellow and then for operations fellow, which is still ongoing. And people have shown interest, and that is how it's always done. The next stage is to review your applications, to try to see, what are those things you put, and that's going to help us in long listing who and who to administer the test tags to. And then we have the test tags next. After taking the test tags and you have that cutoff mark, the next is interview. We schedule interview with people who are successful from that stage. And after the interview, we try to vet your credentials. If you say you have a master's in a certain course, we want to see that certificate and we want to vet that. And we offer you the job if you happen to be the person who is successful in that offer. So this is the process, and this is also another time when I would call somebody and tell you that congratulations, we offered you a job. To settle Shaun's setup, of course. So these are just some few case studies from our internal systems and some of the things we've observed. At times, there was a moment where we are piloting, and there was this pressure that we could not resist that time to get to hire somebody who was supposed to have a community health extension certificate, and so at the end of the day, we considered that offer, and then we gave it to that person. And what we learned during the probation period is that this is actually not a competent person that will fit into the organizational culture at Taimaka. And some of this is evident in how they discharge their duty. Imagine, for those of us who are exposed to the health realm, I was explaining earlier what a MWAC tape is, and then this person was asked to measure the MWAC of a child, and instead of them to size it in the arm, in the upper arm circumference, to get that circumference, they try to rally around the wrist as if it was a wristwatch or stuff. So these are some of those concerns we have, and of course, when you get it right, when you vet this process the way it should be done, and then you hire people based on merit, you get strong performance, good outcomes from these people, and that helps us in having community trust and belief. Because in those communities we've been running our intervention the last 2 to 3 years, there is a lot of trust they have in Taimaka. Once something comes from Taimaka, they have a higher likelihood of buying in versus something that comes from somewhere else, because they believe that we have a system that is designed to make sure that we save their kids from what they are encountering. Well, I want to reiterate also maintaining culture in a growing organization. So imagine an organization that in the last 6 years has been having different experiences, trying out different things. Maintaining culture is very important, because at times you might be carried away to just try to get the hiring done, get approvals to make expansion and stuff, and then you might be compromising in that culture. So when you do that, of course, it's going to affect the quality. In Taimaka, we try to prepare ahead and make sure that our systems are able to accommodate our growth. And this helps us in fostering that, a sense of effective service delivery in our clinics and wherever we operate. And of course, values embedded in onboarding and team norms. Of course, there are some values that once you go through this, you're going to portray. So wherever you are, whatsoever task that is assigned to you, you try to make sure that you leave no stone unturned in trying to get it done and doing it qualitative. Of course, peer accountability and HR visibility. All of these are some of the things that add up, and the ingredients that form what we do, and that what forms our organizational culture. Now, I just want to share a little bit of my own experience, my journey in Taimaka. I started, like I told you earlier, as a loan officer who was assigned to local government to go and market the idea of this post-service loan, and then that was how I started. After the sensitization process, after we started disbursing the loan, I was transferred to Kwame LGA to go, cover that area, and then that is where we have more number of clients. And then Kwame is very close to Gombe. That is to say that some of this, you have a higher number of people who could resist some of these things, but was able to do this and even gain rewards for doing that. And next, when we started CMAM, I was offered the position of logistics assistant, because there are a lot of logistics and program needs that are evolving. So I helped at that regards in CMAM, and now I am Taimaka's admin and HR officer, overseeing people and our systems and making sure that we are having some efficient operations at Taimaka. What I'm trying to say in essence to people who are listening, especially from people who are still in the university and students, is to build your skills. Make sure that if you're, even if you're interning or you're a volunteer in an organization, make sure that you are visible. Let people see you doing great things. Let people see that passion in you, wanting to learn, wanting to improve, wanting to get better. This is very, very important, and make sure you stay consistent. Like, you don't appear on Monday to be a very good volunteer and then on Thursday you're someone else. Make sure that once your name is mentioned, people will see that, this is somebody that can actually get this thing done. All right, these are just some final reflections, and I want to reiterate that when you want to scale your impact, when you want to grow your organization or your work, you should, of course, it's important to look at the models, the theories, and what have you. But it doesn't just stop at you getting funding to do this. It's about the people. Who are the right people you work with? Who are the people you want to partner with to get this thing done? And of course, you have to invest in hiring. It's very important. Invest your time, invest your talent and your treasure in making sure that you get the right people onboarded. And that is how it's going to help you to get to make the most out of whatsoever you're doing. And of course, in building a culture and systems that will ensure that nothing short of this highly impact that you want to achieve is what is happening at the end of the day. And of course, local talent, if trusted and supported, delivers sustainable results. We are living proofs, and Taimaka is actually a living proof that local talents, if you give them the right training, the right support, will actually go a long way. This is just some pictures showing our team at Taimaka. Some from our main office, some during the trainings, and one during our jamboree. Like annually, we used to organize an anniversary where we bring staff from the field, triage assistants, triage officers, our data collectors, people from different departments, just to come together and celebrate our efforts to save lives of children, and not just Gombe State, but the Northeast Nigeria. Thank you very much for listening, and that has been my talk. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for that wonderful section, and we need to also applaud Mr. Abubakar. Please, can we do that again? I would like to say that we are still able to take more questions. Just in case you feel like you have some questions you'd like to ask Mr. Abubakar, please do so on this webcard while we take them. So, 2 questions, and I'll be speaking on behalf of majority here. We have a number of students who are here, some doing their undergrad, some doing their postgrad. So what would you advise as an hiring manager? Actively working in high impact space, that what would you advise that they should do to put them, in the top tier for hiring purposes in high impact jobs?
All right. Thank you so much for that question. My advice for students will be nothing short of, them building their skills. Skills is very important. Of course, your university degree is very important as well. But then while you're gaining that competence, it's important you try to build your confidence. It's important you try to build, your ability to market yourself. And, that helps you when you have an opportunity. And, it's important you try to know where you want to grow your career in. I have seen from experience where you see people who have an almighty CV, I would say, people who have just one CV that they send to different applications. Like an organization that works on global health, you're sending the same CV, and another organization works on climate change, the same CV, malnutrition, the same CV. I have seen students and other people who just graduated from school doing this. So it's important you try to align, get your niche, build your skills, and make sure that you have the right requirements to go for these jobs.
Thank you so much for that. Another question on behalf of those of us that have received a lot of unfortunately. What would you say are the major factors that actually debar people from getting high impact jobs? You apply for a role, you're working in global health, you had parallel experience, and you put in your application, then you send your mail. So, what are the major factors? What are the things you look out for? And okay, so if this candidate does not have, you just shift him off.
Okay, thank you for that question. I think I've presented how the system works. And one thing that an applicant does not have an idea about is the quantum of people who have show interest in doing this work. I'm not saying that to scare anyone, but I'm just saying that, you could advertise like 2 opportunities in your organization only for you to receive 2,000 applications. So that's to tell you the process has to be very rigorous. And, so what I will just advise to people who have interest in the application is to make sure that once you identify the opportunity, put together a very good application, take your time to vet it, have someone, vet it for you, because at times when you're vetting and then you don't have the adequate experience, you might not actually do justice to yourself. So it's important you have people help vet your application before you even send it across. And at times it's not because you need a sort of good luck or stuff, but it's because of the situation. Like the situation could be the kind of people that are sending application at that time and what have you. So it's not just about, at times it's not just about you not doing right in your application, but at times it's just the odds not favoring you, not because there's a bias or any sentiment done, but because maybe I just want to give you an instance with recently with the announcement by Donald Trump to have you said halted in a lot of places. So that's to tell you there are a lot of qualified people out there who are seeking the same kind of opportunity you're looking for. So you see, you have no reason to say that you're going to get it on a platter of gold. You just have to strive really harder.
Okay, we have a number of questions from a particular person. I think it would do very good justice if those questions are asked during the office hour. But I'll pick one out of those questions so that we can just, throw that out there. The question says, during your screening processes for your jobs, do you give preference to Northerners? I see most of your staffs are Northerners. Is there a bias to this? Why is this so?
Okay, of course, maybe that person has said that because of the participants he see here, but I just want to assure you that it's not because of bias. Currently, we only operate in Gombe State, and Gombe State is not just in the north, but it's in the northeastern part of Nigeria. And in our system, we are actually culturally sensitive at times, because if you end up hiring somebody who needs to do a field job, and then that person has a language issue, how could you administer this to those caregivers whom a large number of them did not even go to school? Some of them, even Hausa, they struggle to understand Hausa. They largely speak Fulfulde and stuff. So it's not like we are actually being biased because we don't want quality, but then it's you being able to speak Hausa or Fulfulde, depending on the job advertised though, is an added advantage. I want to assure you that it's not all true for all our positions, because at our office now we have a lot of people, not just in Nigeria, not just from the south and what have you. We have people who are from Spain, we have people from Netherlands, we have people from different countries. So we are not just doing this in favor of the north. We are actually being sensitive depending on the position advertised, and then who is the best person, who is the right person to get it done. So it's never because we only prioritize northerners.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Abubakar Waziri. So this will be all for our section, and should in case you have more questions, we prefer to take them during the office hour. So please do join us at the office hour, the exclusive for immediately after this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.